Well, back in those days, you'd be woken up with a bowl of cereal that was beer instead of milk.
So I did my degree here at Western.
NYU, New York University.
I just went to Western.
University of Victoria in BC.
McMaster University.
At the University of Guelph.
The University of Western Ontario.
One time I had worked a lot of shifts at work, and I walked into one of my classes, and I was awake, and then all of a sudden I was on the floor. Apparently I had not slept enough, and I fell asleep. And I know which room it's in. And I every time I go to that room, I burst out laughing. But I rolled into the middle of the aisle. I fell off, and we were right at the top of the stairs. So I fell in and rolled down.
I had a midterm scheduled on Halloween. We were 20 minutes into the exam, and this guy comes in, and he has no shirt on, and he has blood all over him. And I go up to him, and I'm like, oh my God, what's happening? Are you okay? And he goes, oh no, this is just my costume.
So I worked on the university newspaper and the radio station. And then we announced that if you went to a certain office on campus at a certain time, which of course is very early in the morning, you would get free tickets to the upcoming Rolling Stones concert in Toronto, which was in fact upcoming, but the catch was that we didn't have any tickets. But you'd be surprised how many people will turn up at 6 o'clock in the morning when free tickets are in the offing.
One of the classes in physics was at 8 o'clock on a Saturday morning. Friday night was a kind of a party night or a pub night or whatever it was, usually pub. So everybody who turned up to that class would turn up carrying giant bottles of orange juice or cartons of milk, and they'd just be sitting there in a kind of torpor. And on top of that, the poor guy who taught it was, at best, he was a kind of windy egg. He just was not a good teacher at all. That people started throwing pennies at him, and cascades of pennies would descend. But at the end of class, he used to pick up all the pennies in silence.
So my roommate in first year was I won't say the name until the end of the story, but was a guy from Cape Breton Island. He was on the rowing team. I kind of lost track of him in first year. I came back to Western in 95. My first day as a faculty member, I get a phone call in my office from him. I hadn't talked to him since the basketball game in 87. And in fact, he won a gold medal for Canada in rowing in the Olympics. And in 1992 in Barcelona, not many people cursed their roommate every morning at 4:30 and then later find out they won a gold medal.
I dressed like an NYU art student. Like, I basically looked like money. Like, I had a nice pea coat and black jeans, like just the typical kind of thing. And the security guard was like, you're going to get robbed. Like, I remember being surrounded by a group of people who were going to rob me. And they actually had a conversation about it. And they took pity on me. They were like, basically like, look at this fucking idiot. Who does he think he is just wandering around here? And they just honestly said as a group, just get out of here. Like, just let him go.
My first teaching was in September of 1998. My first class, I stood at the front of the room and I was like a deer in headlights because I was terrified. And I almost told them to all go home and there'd be a different professor there the next week because I was sure I couldn't pull this off,